How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Yesterday, I did a video on a couple different penny stocks, and I mentioned the company that we're talking about today, and a lot of people wanted to hear more about it. So I mentioned it as kind of like a precursor. I'd done some research, but not enough to really give my full opinion on the company, and I want to talk about it today. It's a company that has very strong growth right now. It's in a growing sector, and insiders are buying a lot right now. So I'm going to hit on everything that's happening with the company, whether I'm buying it myself and what I think about it, because it's up massively the last 2 days. Now, if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Also, if you want 4 free stocks through WeBull, you can definitely check out the link below. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you can get up to $3,700 if you deposit $100. And if you want, there's a link down there to BlockFi. You can get 8.6% APY on some of your money. I'm using it myself. It's just in the cryptocurrency market, so you can get interest in Bitcoin, or if you want stablecoin, I have all mine in stablecoin, so it's just tied to the US dollar, so it doesn't fluctuate at all. Definitely check out that link down below. So one thing that I want to hit on from the last video that I've gotten in a lot of comments recently, I've heard from a lot of people that I'm purposely waiting for the market to close to release videos, and that's just not true. So you can see it here. I've had comments like this in a couple videos recently if it's around the time that the market closes. But you have to remember, I do this full time now. I'm making videos in the morning, the afternoon, the night. Right around when market closes, I'm doing it at 3 a.m. my time. So it's all different times. I do them all the time. So I'm not trying to hold out for the market to close. And it's not even true either, because yesterday I did a video on CLSK, this company here. I did it in the morning. The stock went up 15% after I talked about it. It went up 20% today. I'm not trying to time it or anything like that where people can't get in. And this company, WeBull, I've been talking about for weeks. I'm up 120% or something like that, and the company 130%. So my job is to get this information out to you when I can. I'm not trying to hold out because I'd much rather be right and tell people early. And the thing is, if you do really want real-time updates, I tell everyone in my Patreon exactly when I buy and sell, but I'm not going to send it to 50,000 people on YouTube. People won't like that because I send multiple messages a day. I'm not going to do that to 50,000 people. And if you want, you can trade post-market hours, like I said, or pre-market hours with WeBull if you're in the US. So if you're not in the US, I would, if you really need it right away, I would do it on Patreon. But, you know, I just want to hit on that because it's been kind of annoying because I get a lot of comments like that. So if you see someone like that that's commenting that, feel free to correct them because, again, I do 4 or 5 videos a day somewhere after the market closes. I'm sorry. That's just how it has to work out. Now, the company that we're looking at today is ELYS Game Technology Corp. So this one has moved up 30% today. The ticker symbol is ELYS, and it moved up a lot yesterday too. So you can see, you know, today it's up 30%, but it was also up about 24% yesterday and up a lot the day before too. So we've seen a lot of movement this last 3 or 4 days, and it's over doubled in the last 3 or 4 trading days. Now, I have not bought this company yet. I'll be completely honest with you, but ELYS Gaming Technology is one of the fastest growing and technologically advanced sports betting companies and iGaming full service platform providers in the regulated B2B and B2C markets. We focus on driving results for casino and leisure gaming operators with retail and digital solutions for Europe, North America, and around the globe. So you might be wondering what that exactly means. Well, I'll break it down here a little bit more, but essentially the company sells online sports betting and iGaming platforms to different companies. So they're not something like DraftKings, which is selling to clients necessarily. They do some business to customer, but most of what I can see is they're selling to other industries. They're selling to other companies. They're selling their platforms. Now, they are in multiple continents. They're around the globe. They have a lot of insider buying, which is something that I think is really interesting. You can see insiders are buying. Over the last month, we have all these buys and no sells. And from what I've seen, it's about 42% insiders right now that have this company. Now, just looking at the company itself, this is from August, so this has changed a lot. You can see the market cap now is $112 million. Back then, it had an enterprise value of about $31 million. So the market cap at that point was about $18 million. So a very small company, even still a very small company. Their betting handle, which is essentially the money that was placed in bets for the first half of the year, was 182 million. Their first half revenue was about 15 million. And we'll get more into that in the growth in a second. But you can see that they have their two main parts of their business, the business to customer and then their business to business betting technology. So products are offered through those two sales channels. They're also through retail land-based or on-site physical venues or online through PC, tablet, and mobile distribution. So kind of what you would think, right? There's either the online side or the on-site side. Now, this last half of the year has been pretty difficult for them on the retail land-based side, just because obviously a lot of things have shut down. And they currently service about 79,000 online user accounts and an intermediate number of walk-in customers at a combination of three types of venues: 1,200 web-based cafes, 7 corners, and 117 agency locations. So they're kind of diversified in what they actually provide. They have a pretty good revenue this year. So just looking at them compared to some other lines of business, their price to sales ratio is actually decent. So just looking at the revenues for the first half of the year, is about 15 million. Now that's actually down from half of last year. So last year they had about $36 million worth in revenue, but they had a little bit of a problem with the pandemic. Obviously, it caused a lot of their in-person visits and a lot of their on-site visits to go down. So I fully understand why they would actually go down in revenue. They have come back pretty well this last quarter, and I'll explain that in a second. But the good thing that I like to see is they're still decreasing their selling expenses. So they aren't spending as much as this is happening, and as their revenues have gone down, they've actually decreased ratio-wise in their selling expenses. So they've actually become a little bit less unprofitable this quarter or this year. So they're only negative about $897,000 for the first half of the year in operating income. So again, they're actually increasing their revenue pretty well, and I'll show you their third quarter here in a second. But they're also in a growing industry. So they're in the online gaming and sports betting sector. They are increasing the legalization here in the U.S. because it's based on a state-by-state basis. You can kind of see what's going on here with the different legalizations and stuff like that. But again, I really like the fact that they're growing actually pretty quickly, and they're a lot cheaper than some of their competitors. Now, they actually had a pretty good third quarter. Like I said, they were able to increase to about 9.7 million in revenue for the third quarter. So they were able to increase revenue about 44% to this quarter. So they say this reflects very strong growth in our web-based gaming turnover of more than 150%. So turnover is the cost of all the bets, I believe. So again, they're increasing this a lot. They were hoping to surpass 100,000 online gaming accounts before the end of 2020, which they've already done. So, they still have another quarter to grow. And we saw 79,000 just in August. Now it's over 100,000, so some good growth there. They have continued to carefully manage expenses and have a solid balance sheet with over 10.5 million of cash and cash equivalents. And they have also fully repaid their convertible debt since the end of the third quarter and have no long-term debt. Man, that is something that's very positive to me. With, let's say they have about 35 million in revenue this year. Again, they have 34 so far. They've been growing a lot. If they have 35 million in revenue, that would put them at a price to sales ratio that is right around 3. They're growing a lot. Of course, they didn't grow a lot this year or even the year before. You can see that they actually just barely grew this year. But with the increase to online sports betting, I think it's a much more efficient process. I think that they'll continue to be able to drive growth. And you can see that they had some good growth before this. So compared to some of its peers, the price to sales ratio is actually pretty good. So I did pick up a small position in this company. I bought with some of the leftover money in my account, so I didn't buy a large position by any means, but just enough to kind of keep track of it and to take advantage if it goes up a lot. But right now, I am looking at possibly buying more in the future, but I kind of want to see how their next quarter goes. I might buy before then too, and I realize it is pretty speculative because it is a small company, but I like what's happening with it too, so I wanted to take out some position right now. I was a little bit late on this one. And again, we've been buying other stocks that have done really well. So try not to give me too hard a time because we've been right on a couple other stocks. But I plan on buying some of this. It is not a penny stock anymore, but I kind of think of it that way because it is higher risk, higher reward because of the fact that it is a very small company. Now, let me know your thoughts on this company down below. I'd be curious in hearing that because, again, it is a pretty speculative company. And just for the fact that we are in an unprecedented time. It's a very small company, but let me know your thoughts. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want those links down below to WeBull or to SoFi Money or to BlockFi, you can definitely check that out. Thank you. If you want to know exactly when I buy and sell, you can check out the Patreon. And if you want to see another video on a stock that ARK Invest is buying actually right now, check out this video here. Thanks.